meta-shattering, find that composition that just upsets everybody. Very few teams are going to do that. So every team's going to have to play the meta to a certain degree. So I think there's a big chance here for Switzerland just to focus on improving in that.
Yeah, no, that is right. And as much as I love an underdog or a crazy idea that has no right for working but still works, I don't think we're going to see it in this setup, because the meta right now, even though it is a new meta, is pretty much already set on this Mei Reaper kind of combination, and we can also see that on the picks right here. Once again, the only difference at this point are the off-tank picks. With Knasten really surprising me, with his effectiveness on that Sigma. I must say, absolutely top notch.
Again, he's the first person to play it in a proper tournament as well. We touched on at the start of the tournament, it's the first time we'll get teams to see it in a professional setting. Knasten going to be the person who makes that debut on the behalf of Sigma, and he's putting in a great debut so far. And again, it looks like we're in this Mei Reaper mirror once again for the start of Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, and they are coming out of the gate right now. Team Switzerland are trying to get some more tempo in there as they're rounding the first corner. Setting up on the high ground is Jaden. Let's see whether or not he can actually make something happen from up there, or whether or not he will just be used for shooting. But it looks like his team is pushing up with him, and now it's a Reaper versus Reaper setup, and the Team Switzerland is pushed into a corner as Phalix takes down Alive, though it is still 5 versus 5, and Switzerland is long from being pushed up, but Health in trouble right now as he has to push away around the corner.
They don't have to disengage fully because of this type of meta. They can even coalescence out. They do have a Reaper respawning, but aggressive play coming through from a V to try and freeze them, and they turn the Euristical off that, but it's traded right back, Ollie.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, it's a 5v4 right now. Switzerland still in trouble though as Mr. Boba goes down. Health already go back up. Alive finding 2 targets, and now it is Phalix trying to get over the wall, but the mech pops, and it's a reset for Switzerland yet again. But it was a lot better in terms of aggressiveness than what we've seen before.
I think the idea from Jaden was good. You saw him take the high ground, look for that engagement from a different angle. We saw it very well from his point of view, though. You saw that the aggression from his team didn't seem to match his play. So then he wastes his Wraith form, gets halted back in, gets picked off, then Switzerland forced to fight in a dangerous position. Now all they've got is the Blizzard, but it's Israel who are walking forward here. They use their Blizzard first.
Oh yeah, they are, and it is Alive who is now looking for targets in there, even though he was on his Blizzard alone, but he has his Death Blossom ready, so he will most likely just be resetting and seeing whether or not he can find something. So Gibson in trouble, going down by Dark Artist, who is standing up there with his Supercharger out, and a very aggressive setup. Jaden coming in from behind, but cannot find any time to sub it up. The D.Va Bomb up there, not finding any targets, as Dark Artist is able to get out of it, together with Awkward, who are just valiantly holding the point. It is now the ultimate for this Sigma, finding a target in Mr. Boba. Jaden on the Death Blossom finds 2 though, and now Team Switzerland are finally finding their stride, and it looks like they can just take that payload in there for that first push on their end. So the first point not successfully defended. Let's see what they're going to do with it.
I like the idea from Israel, the idea to play aggressively when you've played a lot more reactively previously so far in the series. A change of tempo can catch teams off guard, and it looks good that Sir Gibson already had the Blizzard. Counter Blizzard, make space, and from there it's just a messy fight. Works out okay. Now we're going to move on to second point. Lots more high ground, and we see both swap on over to Widow right now. Jaden versus Alive. Alive definitely had the better series so far. We'll see if he can continue it on this hero.
Yeah, that's because Jaden didn't really get any room earlier in order to make something happen on a Widow. So we'll see what is going to happen. Niv right here, though, is ready with the ultimate, ready with the Coalescence. So we will see whether or not they can actually make something work the way that their counterpart Awkward did in the first round. The Blizzard is out, though, and it is Israel who are just cleaning up even seconds before that payload moved out. There's still 3 minutes on the clock, but it's a very aggressive defense here coming out of Team Israel.
Exactly, another aggressive Blizzard. This one goes a lot more smoothly for them and allows them to win quite efficiently. The best thing about winning a fight with just Blizzard is because everyone's frozen, it allows everyone else to build their ults as well. And you've seen that right now on the Israeli side. 4 ults already ready to go. Switzerland slightly behind, but they do have support ults, so they can keep this fight going for a bit.
Yeah, including Alive on that wall hack, so they also have something to just deter or at least win the information war fight. There's Israel coming in with another great ice block right there. Oh, sorry, with an ice wall. It is their Mei that is just pushing the rest of Team Israel aggressively in there. Alive finds Mr. Bobo. Phalox has to pull back, and it is entirely the entire team of Switzerland who now has to push back. 2 minutes on the clock, and it looks as if Israel are back in control of this one.
I think the main problem here for Switzerland is Alive has such significantly better positions to choose from than Jaden. They either need to clear out the right side flank to get Jaden onto the high ground and get him some room, or they maybe need just like a hero swap to say a Hanzo or something a bit more front loaded to try and punish the front line of Team Israel. Either way, Widow we Widow, anything can always happen, but they need to do something because Alive is just picking them off as they come through here. They need to do something about Alive.
Yeah, and it looks as if Knazen, though, is ready to just fire it up, waiting for that little setup where Team Israel can just turn it around. There's the hole, the rocket's jumping out, but there's a Diva Bomb coming in from Phalox. Let's see if it can find any targets. Most people seem to be safe. Dark Arter's taking up the double, and it looks like Knazen doesn't even really need to use the ultimate in order to keep that payload exactly where it was right now.
Good decision by Israel. As soon as they see that bomb go off, they spot an opportunity to go aggressive. Dark Arthur's drops for Supercharger, Aviv on the Blizzard. They get good value out of it. Now Jaden over to Reaper. This is the hero swap we were talking about. Now they can take that frontline fight. Now it's all about the Israeli team staying alive long enough for Alive to find value, because by default, Switzerland should win the front. Plus they've got the Blizzard, plus they've got the Beat, plus they've got the Supercharger.
Yeah, and they need to be able to do that. I mean, the aggression is still on side of Team Israel, as once again they are 2 people down. It looks as if they don't really want to push forward here. Switzerland, at this point, looks like the defending team in terms of how they are being pushed back by a relentless onslaught for Team Israel, with Cards just taking down Jaden yet again. And, you know, Team Israel doesn't look like they have to move any further backwards. They could just defend here for all they care.
They're picking off players now as well. But in that last fight, it was all like we talked about if Alive can find value, or if more precisely if Switzerland can get value before Alive can. Alive kills the Orisa straight away. Then that pushes so hard. A desperate push now, but they're pushing into so many ultimates here, Switzerland.
Yeah, no, that is right now. Switzerland is coming in, but Knazen with the ultimate immediately gets blocked though by the sound barrier. Knazen only finds Phalox, but that is a very important kill because Phalox was now trying to get some momentum going in, trying to get some pressure up on Team Israel, but that immediately gets countered with him going down and Knazen's ultimate, and that is the end of this round. Let's see what the turnaround may bring.
Is brutal, isn't it? Switzerland, it seems like they're moving in the right direction, but again, Israel are always a step ahead. Alive had a great series there. The front line again had a great series. Again, it's only one game, but I think it definitely still leans towards the idea that Sigma is better than D.Va in these kind of shield matchups or these Orisa-based matchups. Or maybe Israel just better anyway, but that certainly seems to support the theory so far. And again, this should be a relatively straightforward attack from Israel, all things considered.
Yeah, especially, like I said, it's a number of pressure, you know. You see a lot of real estate, a lot of room being generated by Israel's tanks, and I really believe that comes down to Knazen versus Phalox. These two off-tanks are trying to do something different, and there's a question in chat that I need to reiterate here. Why is Phalox not playing that Sigma? Because he can really just make some room for the team.
So they seem to be swapping it around now. I'd be interested to see if they stick on this. And it looks like Phalox is going on to the Orisa, which I think does support our theory from earlier that Phalox isn't comfortable on the hero, which is somewhat reasonable when it's new, but also there's a lot of people who are already pretty good at Sigma, so if you really want to be up there with everybody else, then you need to be matching them for this practice and this improvement and this development on this new hero, because clearly Knazen's put in the work, right? We can see that as a fact. I know there's a lot of other off-tank players who have put in the work. Seems like Phalox hasn't right now, so instead they're going to try Helve on it. So reversing the roles here for Team Switzerland, we'll see if this brings them any more success.
Yeah, and look at that, Knazen on that wrecking ball. So they're trying to make a lot of room very quickly. Just get that high ground clear, push them out of position, and see whether or not they can make enough space in the in those short bursts in order to get Alive and Aviv there where they need to be, namely in the middle of the enemy team as they round the first corner. A little thing that I need to highlight here, we are already up by $684 in the prize pool. So thank you for the donation so far. And I would like to encourage everyone who wants to make it, wants to have a chance at our giveaway to donate, to help your favorite team to go to the World Cup. But right now, let's jump right back into the action.
Big shield matchup so far. V finds that opening kill. Looking good for Israel. It's a complete melee around right now, but you can see Knazen just recycling that shield again and again and again, pounding on the damage. Alive comes from a different angle, and that's when the kills start turning. And all of a sudden, Israel have a first cap. Israel have a coalescence in the bank. They nearly have Blizzard, and it's looking good. It's basically one more fight for Israel, and this will be 3-0 in the series.
And that's right, and Awkward once again is just showing off what a Moira can actually do. Such a dangerous support player, such a dangerous support hero as well, and this seems like a combination that was absolutely made in heaven. Now, I know that Moira mains had a bit of a rough last season, but it looks like they are back on the menu, boys. So let's see what's going to happen. Israel going through the choke, and Aviv very close to that Blizzard ultimate. So let's see whether or not they're just going to use it to push, and it is off. Blizzard going out Alive, looking for Sir Gibson together with Knazen. Helm is going down as well, and that was it. Very fast for Israel. Very short way to walk there. So that is not, you know, a big surprise, but the way that it was executed, especially that first thing, beautifully done, and Awkward getting the play of the game for a reason.
Let's see if he does more than 20 damage on any of these kills. No?
Yep.
No. You think? Or maybe more than 20. Not a lot, though. These are kill steals. These are kill steals. I don't want to undermine them, but those are kill steals. Anytime a Moira's on a kill streak, it's pretty much kill steals unless it's coalescent. But either way, he did play well. We shouldn't diminish him too much. But I think that's just some classic Overwatch we saw there, right? First fight, one team wins. They have that ult advantage going into the second fight, so it's pretty straightforward to snowball the next fight. Unfortunately for Switzerland, that's all they managed to achieve on their attack. So that one fight and the snowball fight, and you've just lost the map. So we are going to play out the fourth map, same format as Contenders or Overwatch League. The only slight difference that won't come into play in this series, but might do in other series, is if we go to a tiebreaker map, the team that lost the previous map gets to pick the mode between control map and escort map, which is slightly different in Contenders and Overwatch League. It's you play controller, you don't play.
What?